Hello there and welcome back to JPP, Japan's Perfect Pens. My name is Richard and thank you for joining me today for another Namiki pen review. This is going to be a Yukari size pen, and the Yukari being reviewed is the Namiki Yukari Yozakura Raden by Yumi. This is a 2020 pen. Now the Yozakura Raden pen means cherry blossoms at night. So we have the sakura cherry blossoms being represented by Raden. So each petal is a piece of Raden and there's a little bit of Maki-e work. So this is a rounded cap Namiki Yukari pen, which means it's a cartridge converter brass pen with urushi and Raden. It's 14 centimeters long and it carries a two-tone size 10 18 karat gold nib. So let's have a look at the pen. So the main feature of this pen is these Raden petals from the sakura blossoms which cover the pen. Now the Raden colour here, as you can see, is these blues and purples and greens. You can get other colour Raden, but this is the colour scheme used here. And there's just a little bit of Maki-e work there at the end of the cap with the burnished gold powder. Now the Raden here is quite interesting. Raden itself is mother of pearl, which is thin layers of the inside of certain shells. As we said, it's usually blue, green, purple colour, but you can get it in white colours. Now this is warigai, which means this Raden has been cracked. So if you look at each petal, the petal is cut out and placed onto the pen individually, and then when it's on the pen, it is then cracked. So each petal has lines through the middle of it where you can see that it has been broken up. So where each petal originally was one piece of Raden, now it is 5 or 6 or 7 pieces of Raden due to these cracks that have appeared. Now if you recall the Emperor Dragon, the pearl here is made of white Raden that has also been cracked. So you can see in this image, it's cracks all over it, it's the same effect in play. And it's actually quite interesting because it gives the Raden petals that little bit of texture to it, because Raden normally just gives you a reflective light. So it doesn't really feel like texture, but these little black lines have a little bit more depth and detail to them. But in short, they're just supposed to look beautiful in the light as they reflect. As you can see from turning the pen here, they're easier to see in videos than they are in still photographs because the movement of the light catches our eyes. So turning this pen, it looks absolutely gorgeous. And you can see how the theme of sakura at night time in the moonlight, it's not supposed to be bright and shiny and colourful, it's supposed to be just catching the light in different places, and it's really, really lovely. And I think it's worth pointing out that they decided to go ahead and use this gold powder just to break up the blackness. They didn't want the Raden just standing out on the black like it is on the Emperor Nightline. They've placed it at the end of the cap and then also at the end of the barrel, which is usually hidden underneath the cap when the pen is closed. Just that little bit there to give it borders to where the Raden work is. So let's unscrew the pen and take a look at it. So here we have the Namiki size 10 nib. Okay. So this is the two-tone size 10 Namiki nib, which means it is 18 karat gold. It writes smoothly. It's quite hard. So although it's gold, it's not gold with softness. It's quite hard, but it has a wet flow. It takes a Con 70 converter, which holds about 1 milliliter of ink, and it has that two-tone Mount Fuji snow cap, which looks absolutely beautiful on the nib there. Now, in terms of the writing experience, my very first Namiki was a Chinkin Matsu, which is the pine, which has this same number 10 size Namiki nib. Now my experience of that is that the nib is quite hard, wet and smooth. So I enjoyed writing with that. That was my first Namiki. I wrote with it for quite a long time before I purchased another Namiki. It doesn't have the natural bounce that the giant size 50 nibs have, or even the size 20 nibs of the Yukari Royales, but it's still very pleasant. and I enjoy writing with it to this day. My wife likes to borrow it a lot. It's better suited to her hand size than my hand size. I'm a little bit big for it, so I would tend to reach for a bigger pen like the Emperor's if I'm doing long writing sessions, but it's still a good size, and because it's brass, it's got a little bit of weight to it, which I quite like in a small pen. I like to know that the pen is in my hand. So I really recommend this as a writing instrument as well as an item of obvious beauty. And for me, that is the role that the Raden pens take with Namiki, I think. It's because the Maki-e pens often come with much more story elements and much more symbolism in the items. So when you get an animal and a tree, they tend to have mutual themes running through them, whereas the Raden pens are more about this is just a beautiful writing instrument with beautiful decoration. Now, I don't think that makes them less as pens at all. I think that makes them really quite nice, and I always like them because I don't need to resonate with the theme. I just need to enjoy the visuals of it. And in this particular case, it's got this elegance. It's a little bit understated because it's quite gentle in its colouring. It's not flashy, it's not bold, but it is really quite beautiful. And in that capacity, I think it will make a fabulous gift for someone because it doesn't need to have more depth to it particularly. It just needs to sit there and be absolutely gorgeous. So that was my review. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoy seeing these pens. If you do, then please hit that like and subscribe to the channel, and I look forward to making much more content like this in the future. Thank you very much and have a great day. Bye bye.